What's up, guys? So, a moment ago, I was watching a video in which it talked about how some people's channels have been on the decline or dying or something. And of course, this is addressing big YouTubers. And of course, the pattern seems to be that oftentimes, audiences get disappointed whenever they realize that the person they are watching is definitely on the side of being manipulative. Hey, Garita. Um, and I just wanted to give my input on that, my opinion, impression on that, and maybe why it happens, why I think this is a thing, and just hear me out. So, immediately, there's a couple examples that I can think of that dwell on this thing, and that is there was a guy. I don't know if you guys know him. I didn't really know him. I really knew of him because I was looking up probably a movie review, and then I noticed this guy. But this guy's name is Bobby Burns, and it's this really young guy. And a few months ago, he was on Shane's channel, which Shane, I happened to stumble upon. I don't even remember how I found his channel, but he's supposed to be one of the biggest stars in the platform. And quite honestly, I think his content is good. I think he's very entertaining, he's funny, he has great ideas. Anything that he puts his mind into, he can really come up with some good pieces of filmography, whatever you want to call it, great videos. And I can just tell that he likes what he's doing. He's actually a pretty genuine person. That's my perception of Shane as a person, honestly. I feel like he's not really difficult to understand. He seems to me to be pretty transparent. Maybe he does put up a face here and there, but if he does very well at hiding it. Um, Now, in the case of Bobby, I heard something about how he started losing subscribers after he changed the way he started creating content. Like, he used to be someone who did commentary on movies and criticizing other people. And for me personally, I enjoy listening to people ranting and people rambling and even criticizing others, especially if you have something constructive to supply to someone. But on the note of people not watching you anymore just because you change things, I wonder why that is something that people see as a reason for you to just give up on that person as a creator. So, what I am trying to say is that with Shane, for example, I loved his conspiracy theories the best. I thought that the setup was awesome. He was just talking to a camera, he would show footage, and he had like a different tone. He had a much calmer tone as opposed to his usual loud and just energetic persona. For some reason, that captivated me, but just because he started doing docu-series doesn't mean that I cannot appreciate what he puts out anymore. Now, I guess that in Bobby's case, what affected him is that based on the comment sections of his videos, people keep saying that he has changed. And I guess what people mean is primarily that they no longer know who they are watching. So I guess the audience likes to not be deceived. And what I am noticing is that a lot of people who create content eventually have like their breakdowns and meltdowns and whatever. And I noticed that it seems to be kind of a pattern because when you think about it, almost every YouTuber ever started off as someone who either didn't have a lot of friends or is awkward or they don't hang out or they don't go out or anything. And somehow they end up having a lot of attention, a big audience, and it's like they don't know how to handle it. So I just wonder what about this is so difficult and stressful for you to be actually putting your real self out there? I know that when you create content, you can look at it as an escape, and therefore you may even contemplate the idea of becoming someone else. But I think that you should keep it very simple. Like sometimes I have my moments where I start streaming something or I may vlog something, and I like to show exactly how I react in my life. I don't need to be really over dramatizing. I don't need to be overacting. In fact, I never act in any of my videos. The way that I portray myself to you is the way that if you meet me in person, I would be. I think the only difference would be that if you were to approach me, I will be a little shy at first and test the waters here and there. But once we initiate a conversation, like what I was talking about last night about how to get started, once you get me started, it's like you'll see that I'm the same person, exactly the same person. So I keep hearing that when people meet other YouTubers, they are shocked at how different they are. And I'm like, well, it makes sense. They are running a business and they have to have a certain image. But basically, what I want to get at is if you decide to present yourself consistently in a specific manner and it does not match who you are, and then you find that exhausting, and now you actually revert to the person who you are originally, of course the audience is going to be turned off by you because the audience feels like they were lied to. The audience feels like they have been deceived. There are people who I no longer watch because I discover that, let's say, something that they preach is not something that they really apply. So to me, it's kind of disappointing, although I understand that sometimes you cannot really be on top of everything. Like, you guys know that I like to talk about exercising and fitness and taking care of your body and whatnot. And I have moments when I completely stop caring and I may even put on a few pounds, but I get back on it. It's just that sometimes I get lazy, sometimes it gets exhausting, and I just want time to just do stuff a little differently, and not be so strict with myself. But I'm not sitting there feeling all miserable and depressed about it. I do get disappointed about myself sometimes, but I like to acknowledge the fact that I am a human with flaws and sometimes I just need a fucking break. But when I see these big YouTubers having their moments of I gotta leave to take care of my mental health and whatnot, like, I guess I will never understand the why this gets to them because I'm not famous, I'm not bugged by people all the time, and I feel like that would be exhausting for me as a shy person. But to when you create a video and you talk about you not having a sense of direction anymore and you being lost, how do you get to that point? Just create something. You need to figure out what you want to do, who you are, and just guide yourself by that and be confident. Because if you focus on the lucrative aspect of the business, then I think that's where your problem comes from. You need to figure out what your priorities are. For me, my priority is to, first of all, have fun. The second thing that worries me the most is this something that I am proud of? And if I can say yes, then absolutely, I will talk about it. I will mention it. I am proud about being a curious person. I am proud about people challenging my views. I am proud of my views, so I like to present them, even though some of them are ignorant and painfully lacking substance and whatnot. But that's what I'm here for. I'm a very curious mind. I love to share my thoughts. I like to sit down and think for hours, sometimes not doing anything. And even when I am focused on something, I am constantly thinking about how can I make something better? Why did this happen? How did this happen? Who came up with this? How did that person come up with this and that? Just be curious. I think that a curious mind does not have time to be dwelling on the negative aspects of their lives. Yes, I am alone, and a lot of times, like, the loneliness gets to me sometimes to where it makes me feel like sad. That's what loneliness is, when you feel kind of down because you're constantly alone. But I look at that and I'm like, you know what? Maybe in my future, there will be a time in which I will not be so alone anymore and I will miss my time that I have to myself now excessively. So, how about if I embrace it and do things that I know that in the future, as my life changes and progresses, then this time that I have, I may not have it again. So, how about if I just embrace it and focus on it as opposed to just feeling like I have lost my place? See what I mean? So, again, I'm not trying to like crap on the people who struggle with their fame and whatnot, but I'm just saying, define your priorities, never let go of who you are, and be able to distinguish between you are a character and you are you. So if you want to be a character and you at the same time, maybe create two separate channels. I think that's what people ought to do if you want to keep that balance. Therefore, when people go to your channel when you are being another personality, they know that that's what you're doing. And then when they go to your real channel, they're like, okay, I can come here to see the person for what they really are. But for me, I'm a very one-track mind. If I am going to do something that I am happy with and confident about, I will keep everything in just one channel. I cannot imagine myself having more than one channel, but I like that everything is in just one place. So you guys, as you stay with me, stick around, get to know me, you will know when I am being sarcastic, when I am being funny, when I am acting, when I am being dramatic. You should get a pretty good sense of who I am already, because that's consistently what I have done. I have been true to myself, and that's how I have presented myself. So when I hear these YouTubers just talk about how difficult it is, it's like, I wish that I could interview them so that they can give me insights in what their lives are about. And I'm gonna be like, bruh, you just need to take it easy. Because I feel like the fume of having money and being able to travel and having a lot of an audience and being constantly in the spotlight, I think you don't know how to handle that. And it's all right, because this is not something that they teach you in school. Not everyone is assuming that you're going to turn into a famous person and therefore they're going to give you proper pieces of advice for you to handle this. This is something that we don't treat like the average person can get to. See what I mean? Like attention. But in a case like that, I guess find sources to help you out, and whatever you do, remain true to yourself. Just because you have money to do things, don't go crazy. I think that's what some people need. You need discipline, you need direction, and you might even need a manager who's there just telling you, you know what, this is right, this is wrong, be careful with this, be careful with that. Because especially if you come from a background where your parents were not very involved with you, I can see how you may lack those skills to distinguish what is going to be stressful for you, what's too much for you, and what's the fine line, the fine balance, put it that way. But anyways, guys, that's just my opinion, so I'm going to catch up with what you guys are saying before I keep going. Woo Jenny says, hello, my dearest. Hello. Marlon says, ain't nothing wrong with that. I cannot agree more, but a lot of people have no clues who they are. They have no guts to try and make some mistakes. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all right to mess up, go out there and do crazy things, just as long as you are healthy. Like, don't break the law. Don't do things that you're going to regret. Take care of your body, whatever you do. Just because you are young doesn't mean that you're going to be young forever and your body is capable of keeping up with an unhealthy habit for long. Like, make sure that you get your sleep, make sure that you eat, make sure that you still exercise. And I find that a lot of these people do not sleep, and sleep is super important. And this is the time for you to be getting your sleep, because your life is only going to keep getting complicated from here. So I think that people just need to understand that just because you have some kind of influence out there, that the world is not on your feet. So just take it easy. It's cool to be popular and for a lot of people to look up to you, but I think that if you expect for those people to stick around, you need to be transparent. You need to be sincere and not projecting yourself in a persona that people get used to, and then you try to undo that and be like, no, this is the real me, and then you want people to love you the same. It's kind of difficult because you have deceived us this whole time. So if you keep a balance between, okay, I am putting out content, but I am also letting people have insights into who I am as a person, then people will not be as confused when they're around you. See what I mean? But anyways, guys, if I were big like that and I was doing videos that actually require production, I think that's what I would do. I would be like, okay, you guys have gotten to know who I am as a person. Now I am going to try to put my creative mind to the test. And I have done it sometimes. Like when I made my video about being a model, there really wasn't any talking going on in that video. But at least you know that based on what I have verbally expressed, that is pretty much me mocking how I perceive the modeling world. Like I think that some people look crazy with the way they walk and all that. So I took my own physical body and I tried to recreate what my mind sees. That's it. Nothing overly complicated about that. Let me see. Let me scroll this. I'm alone all the time, but I need this privacy so I can think straight for myself. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I hear people, especially the people I work with, we work 8-hour shifts. Sometimes you just need space and you just want to be by yourself because you're not a machine. You are a person who is constantly processing thoughts, emotions, feelings, symptoms, like physical symptoms. This is the season to be getting sick. So you're not going to be at your best all the time, and you should have a right to have space for a little bit. So of course, that's why I have said in the past that I don't think humans should be working this much, but we have to because, you know, the type of society that we live in. But anyways, guys, I thought that it's something interesting, so I just mentioned it. Hello, Jordan. I lived somewhat of an extreme life. My body is broken but still kicking. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I find it that a lot of people tend to regret the fact that they did not take care of themselves when they were younger. And I know that there is a lot that I am doing that can be damaging to my body. Like, for instance, especially during these months, I tend to be a little more sedentary, probably because it's cold, and also I tend to eat a whole lot more junk. And I know that this stuff is going to catch up to me. It's already catching up to me. I don't usually weigh myself, but I can tell that I am heavier. I can see it in my face and all that. But guess what? I know that I am not letting go of myself completely. I still go work out. I still like to drink water and eat my veggies and have a balance and whatnot. But I know that I am not going to be perfect during this season. So what I do is, okay, when the springtime comes, I need to get serious again. And during the winter, have my 2 days out of the week in which I get very serious and all that, you know. But it's all right. Just I feel like people want to be perfect all the time, and that is impossible. You need to acknowledge the fact that you're a human, you're going to make mistakes, and that is perfectly okay. I feel like people are very obsessed with pleasing others and giving this image that your life is perfect. No, you need to let go of that. You need to, first of all, be accountable for yourself and take care of yourself and pay the dues to yourself, and then maybe consider worrying about others. But if other people are not the ones who are paying your bills and shit, why are you so concerned about that? Like, you know, on the note of having a big audience, I think that it's important for you be to have integrity, whatever business it is that you're running, and then people will continue to gladly support you. But if you do things that are manipulative and just deceiving, and you expect for people to still respect you the same, like, okay, I can understand that you can make mistakes here and there, but you should know when you are doing something that is lacking integrity. And that's where I want to say there is no excuse for you to not do a good job about that. So for me, if I were big like that and I had a massive influence, yes, it is important to me what the audience thinks about me. And I think that a good way to seal my relationship with the audience is to be sincere consistently. And because sometimes when I see these videos of them coming out and talking about their emotions, it's like, why do you need to overly produce that video as well? Just have a video, sit down with your audience, talk about if it's something that's going to affect your job. For example, you are a daily uploader and you're going to be out of the game for a few days. I think something like that warrants you to have a sit down for a second and let your audience know what's happening. But when it comes to creating these videos in which you're overly mental and you expect for people to relate to you, it's kind of difficult to do when we don't know you. We have not gotten to know who you truly are as a person because you have been another personality this whole time. So I want to be sympathetic for you, but sometimes when you overly produce even videos like that in which you're trying to forge this connection with the people who support you, it's kind of weird to do because we don't know who you are. You're introducing yourself as a completely different person, and the person who we thought we knew is no longer there. So if people get annoyed and they start like unsubscribing or something, then don't be offended by that. Like for me, for example, I have been losing subscribers. Do I get worried about that? Do I frown about that? No, I know that people might have found me because of one specific video and they notice that I do not talk about that topic much, or that's not what the style of video that I do. I do streams primarily because my phone doesn't have memory to do like 30-minute videos all the time like I want to do them. But I'm not offended by that because I'm not here to please people. Like, I'm very happy with the few folks that have stuck around and I have a good time and I remember that this is my hobby. But even if this were the way that I make money, I would keep a balance about that. I'm like, okay, my audience is important, but I'm not obsessed with becoming the next big star. And I think that this is a generation that's very obsessed with being famous to be worshipped and to be loved. It's like you lacked that in the beginning years of your life or something, and now you are a broken adult craving that type of attention, and no amount of millions of people seems to satisfy that. I mean, I don't know what to say about that, but I just think that you need to be confident. Whatever it is that you do, be proud of what you do. And there are people who are going to like you, there's people who are not going to like you. But the folks who have been unsubbing from me, I am not offended at all because you have a right to find other people who keep you better entertained and you think that giving your time to other people is better. It's all right. I'm not offended. The sole fact that I got to meet you and we hung out for a little while, to me, that was awesome. But I know that people have to part ways sometimes, and that's okay. We do it in real life and we do it online too. So there's people that I definitely do not even watch anymore. And that's all right. I don't hate them. It's just that they no longer, my interests evolve and therefore they are not aligned with this person anymore. So they have to go. It's all right. I'm not sitting here crying about what is happening to my channel. My channel is dying. I'm only getting 20 views every video. I used to get 200s, etc., etc. It's all a cycle. My cycle of having a lot of people intrigued is done. Guess what? I still keep going. I keep doing this because this is what I like to do. I'm not doing it to get the hundreds of views that I used to get months ago. I do this because this is what I like to do. Whether I had 10 people subscribe to me or whether I had like 100,000 subscribe to me, this is what I like to do. And I am not going to change this format. I like to produce whatever it is that I am in the mood for. Sometimes I like to go out and vlog. Sometimes I like to eat. Sometimes I like to show you guys new things that I am trying. Sometimes I like to share stories of things that people told me that I thought were funny. Other times I like to read out stuff to you. I do whatever the hell I want because in my channel I am my own boss. So big stars out there, I would hope that that's how you are. You are your own boss. You have control of the ship. You are the captain. So you are only producing stuff that you are happy with. So that is why I find myself being constantly happy with what I'm doing. I love to spend this time doing this. And like I said, when I hit the end stream button, I'm the same person. I'm still happy. I'm not doubting myself. I'm not nervous. I'm not insecure. Like, I am proud of what I'm saying and what I am putting out. So, and I know that someone out there is going to agree, someone out there is going to disagree, and someone out there is going to challenge me and therefore teach me something new. I love that. I am a curious person. I love to learn. So that's why this style that I have going on, it works for me and it makes me happy. And occasionally you guys submit ideas that I consider and I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Let me give it a shot. I try it. If I like it, good. I implement it. If not, at least I can say I tried it and I can be like, guys, I tried it, but it wasn't my thing. So do not expect for it to happen again because I didn't really dig it. I answer to me and then I let you guys know what is happening. But I don't feel like I have to force myself into, say, if you guys liked to see more of my, say, modeling videos, I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, I don't really like that. If you're here to get that, I'm going to be honest with you, there's not going to be a whole lot of that because it's not something that makes me happy. Some of you will get it and you'll still support me. Some of you will be disappointed and go away. Fine. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You know? But these people who are obsessed with making everyone happy, y'all need to reconsider some stuff. Because people are different. People are difficult. Don't complicate your life pleasing others. Let's see. Where am I at? Hello, welcome Jordan. Hello Jenny and Garuda and Zamri and everybody. Welcome back. Thank you. Hi Jordan. I am in Hong Kong. It is midnight, I guess. Oh, that's interesting. I love quiet and I don't like hanging around people too much. Nothing against people, but when a person is partying a lot, being too silly, that's when all trouble started. Yeah, exactly, because that person is trying to be the buffoon, to be the life of the party and get attention. I am not that person. People find me funny and fun to be around, and that's great, but I don't even have to try. I don't have to stop being myself and turn into something different so that people gravitate towards me. Even when I am not even saying anything, people just gravitate toward me. I mean, what I do is I find the balance. Okay, what can I do? What can I not do? And I just live with it, you know, but I'm not obsessed here trying to get people to like me or something. Like, you will like me or you will dislike me, but I am not trying too hard for you to become my fan. I don't need to be worshipped. God, I'm tired of my allergies. I cut down carbs, rice, pasta, and I have lost a lot of fat, fasting for about 12 hours every day. You know what? I wish that I could fast for prolonged periods of time like that, but I can only seem to do like 4 or 5 hours without eating and then I need to snack on something. It's probably because since I am a pretty active person, I'm just burning that stuff all the time and I'm just constantly hungry. Loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and getting away from you is super important to chill for a while. Pleasing people is the worst thing to do. We all human beings are never perfect. Hey Garuda, when preachers messed up, people always say they are fake. They are just humans. When a preacher doing something wrong, all of a sudden he or she is a fake Christian. I know, right? When it comes to people accusing people of being fake, I mean, there's only so much that you can keep straight in your head. Like, sometimes that's why I don't like to follow a script. I'm like, hey guys, this is what I heard. This is my perception of it. I don't know if it's true or false. This is for you to judge. I don't know facts from opinions sometimes. So what I like to do is this is what I endorse and this is what I do not endorse. You guys be fanatics of whatever it is that you want. My interests and needs may not be your interests and needs. So therefore the stuff that challenges me, you don't have to be related to that. You don't have to relate to that. Some of you are like 40 years old. You are not going to be relating a whole lot at this stage in your life with something that happens to a 20 something year old. That's why a lot of you say, you know what, when I was younger, I used to have that same problem, Zam, and I did this and that. This is what worked for me. It got a whole lot better. See, you guys get it. But for other people, that is difficult to grasp. You think that the person you are today is the person who you're going to be for the rest of your life. You do not take into account the fact that your life is constantly evolving and there's a whole lot of things that you have yet to experience. And for instance, I know that stuff about me is going to change once I get married and have kids. So I cannot expect to be having the amount of time that I have now, amount of energy that I have now, when that stuff happens. So, like I said, instead of feeling negative about the fact that I'm always alone and all that right now, I'm like, you know what? Let me embrace this peace, this quiet, because eventually I ain't gonna have this. And, I just want to be able to look back and be like, you know what? I remember in my 20s, I had time and space. Those were good times. Now it's time for my life to change, and I have to embrace it. Just embrace the change. Don't fear it and escape it. Let's see. Garuda, are you alright? Sounds bad. As you said, your body was broken. I don't want to be famous. I don't think I can handle the attention from strangers. That would freak me out. And it would freak me out too, because honestly, there are people who have already acknowledged me publicly, and I'm like, what? But when I think about it, I'm like, okay, the world is a small place when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But, but, yeah, and initially, because of my shyness, I get worried. And also, sometimes I fear about the security aspect of it because I have seen people getting stalked and I have never been stalked before. So, how would I handle a situation like that? But guess what? I do not live my life in fear. If something were to happen, I will address it when it happens. I'm not going to let my anxiety get to me. See what I mean? Because what if nothing ever fucking happens? And sometimes I'm like, oh, I hope that nobody's following me because that would be weird. That would be terrifying. But like I said, I do not live my life in fear. If I feel that someone is doing something that's going to put my safety at risk, that's when I will do something about it. But, until then, why am I worrying about it? I will know what to do when the situation surfaces. So just chill out about it. Chill out. Being famous, very easy to lose control in life. I don't want to be famous. This is fate. Nobody can control fate anyway. I'm a friend with God, not the world. I don't care about being famous as long as God is smiling on me and I father be rich. I would rather be rich and not famous. Hey Wolfus. Teens are worrying about being popular in schools too, but not worrying about getting education. Oh my goodness, yes, when I was graduating, I kept thinking about everyone who I knew who was popular, and then I'm like, you know what? You're going to go to college now, and all your popularity is not going to do anything for you. Nobody is really going to know you, and the handful of people who will know you, that's like in a campus of like 20,000 people, there's only going to be maybe 20 of you who know each other. That's a big security of the four walls of high school and middle school and all that. They have like a really hard reality check. So that's why I never obsessed about being loved and having attention and whatnot. That does nothing for me but stress me out. I hope you are alright, Garuda. Thanks. Michael Jackson was so sad being famous, mentioned how he felt when he was alive. You're welcome, Garuda. You know what? When, on the note of famous people like that, isn't it crazy how people who have small ass families, they end up with these big houses? For me, it's like, whenever I get a house, if I'm going to have a big house, it's because I need every inch of it. But why is it that you, with a small family, you're going to end up in a big house? That just makes no sense to me. But I mean, people just have different tastes, I guess, different ambitions. To me, like I said, I will only have a big house if I really need that much space, but nothing better than living a simple life. Big house, big business, big responsibility. So anyways, Well, guys, I'm going to conclude my rambling here. It is very possible that I will return in a couple of hours because I realized that I have been kind of falling behind in the channel and there's some stuff that I just really want to talk about. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining me. It was good to see some of you, especially at a different time, and that's been giving you guys chances to get to interact with me and catch me live. I do read the comments even if I cannot always reply to them. Check out my second YouTube page, Wolfus Tavern. Some rich people have small houses. Yeah, and I bet you that those rich people with smaller houses are actually happier. And isn't it crazy that a lot of famous people, they just have a ton of property? And I'm like, why are you going to be buying up all this property to not even be living in it? If you are going to go somewhere temporarily, how about if you just rent a hotel room or something? Oh, probably you're part of the people who are trying to gentrify others. I don't even know. But anyways, and Garuda, I hope you feel better. I spoke about you again, Zamri, on my YouTube. Oh, well, looks like I have someone who admires me. Bye, Zamri and everybody. Yeah, you guys. I'll try to come back today. Because, like I said, I really have some stuff that I just want to put out there. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good day. And yeah, I'm definitely trying to stay warm. That's why I wear the coat. And I always have my hands like this to keep them warm because my hands are like 2 blocks of ice right now. I'm gonna have a back and forth thing with you. Well, maybe that means I need to do a Wolfus video. I'll consider it. Alright, guys, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.